I know we talked a little bit about Marvin Harrison Jr. When you first got in here today, but the rule this week seems to be lots of Marv talk. And I guess that's what's going to happen when you have all the hype that he had coming into his NFL career and then that start to his career. 1 catch, at least 1 drop, 4 total yards on 3 targets. So I'll start there. I said this to Wolf yesterday. The stat that bothers me the most is the 3 targets.
Right.
So is there a way to, I don't want to say force him the ball, but prioritize getting him the ball without sacrificing what you're trying to do on offense?
It is, but I don't, I don't know, right, Drew's, what his philosophy is as far as moving around guys and whether or not Marvin can handle being moved around either. Because when you're on the outside, things typically have to develop. If you run a dig route, it takes time to run that stuff. I got to look guys off, and normally you're not the first option, right? And so you have to dial up certain plays that's going to attack a certain coverage that's going to allow that guy that you're trying to target to come open and really be the primary guy, right? But based on the routes that he was running, he was never, I don't think, the primary, right? Or when the routes you say, well, throw it to him. Well, he looked like he's doubled because of the nature of the defense. They were trying to take away deep shots. And a lot of his routes, when I looked at it, he ran some snag routes and some digs and some stops where he was kind of sitting down in the hole, but a couple of things were even happening. So either the safety was cheating over to him, so it looked like he was doubled, which that's what it looks like in cover 4, when the safety's man that he's responsible for runs like a short route, right? His eyes come off of number 2 and his eyes go to number 1 where Marv primary lines up. So now you have a corner and a safety kind of cheating to him, understanding who he is. Lost my train of thought, man. This football.
No, I'm just saying right now. It's interesting you say that, Zoe, because I think the best way you can help Marvin Harrison Jr. get the ball more is to run it. To run it.
I mean, you talking about play action and be able to come off of something. And the weird thing about that too, as I get my train of thought, the play action, he was away from it though. He was never like a guy running like that deep over that you could hit and catch over the middle and go.
Well, the first one that he dropped was a dig. It was a dig, but it was against a cover, and I thought it was cover 4 or 3. Cover 4.
Yeah, it was quarters.
And all of a sudden he sat it down, which was smart because that's what you do on a dig.
See, but on that one, he was actually at number 2 because they motioned out Dortch to the number 1 receiver.
Yes.
He ran a vertical, then sat right behind the linebacker, right in front of the safety.
Right.
Coming back to your point, and that's the one that he dropped.
Okay,
right?
So here's the thing right here. That's the one that he dropped.
Right.
But the best way to help Marvin Harrison Jr. is I'm holding up a Red Run T-shirt right now is to run the ball, and this is for you.
Oh, okay. I'll take that. I appreciate that, man. I have to wear that up out of here today.
A Red Run.
It's a new edition that's got Arizona Sports on the side, too, on the sleeve.
I know. How about that,
that's
man?
fancy.
And it's a nice little patch, too.
Yeah.
It's not something that just stuck on there.
Wolf didn't draw that on with marker or anything.
You never know these days. You can stick a patch on the side. Let me see this thing.
So, to me right now, it's funny because other than losing the game, of course, the biggest thing that I was disappointed about was Marvin Harrison Jr. And the fact that he was only targeted 3 times. And the fact that he did drop the one ball that was right in between. Maybe a little humble pie isn't going to be a bad thing, though, ultimately.
And I mean, he's going to be fine, right? We getting all panties in a bunch over one game, right? I'm never going to say a player's great after 1 game. He could have had 200 yards, right? Oh, he's a future Hall. No, let's calm down, right? It's a lot of football to be played, right? So he's going to be fine as he grows and gets comfortable in this offense. Because watching him, and this is my first time really watching him. I didn't really watch him at Ohio State. You see the highlights, of course. But I want to see does he play faster as things go on, right? He's a bigger guy, so he doesn't look like he's moving as fast as maybe like a Greg Dortch when he runs when you're watching it.
Yeah.
So, and you would be able to tell this even more so, like when you were watching practice, how did it look compared to games? Because often in practice, you kind of know what the play is going to be. They have the scripts. Hey, what I got today? Okay, you got to dig on this route, down my bone, and you go out and run it versus hearing it in the huddle, and now you got to think, process it, then go execute.
It looked like he was thinking about everything.
Yeah, and when you cannot play the game like that. You cannot play this game thinking, right? And that is the difference between Good players, great players, Hall of Fame players. They're able to take a lot of information, process it like that, and still allow their elite athleticism to come out. Once you start thinking and you I kind of feel, and you become rigid, it takes away that God-given gift of his athleticism, and that's where he has to get to. Just kind of hearing you kind of agreeing with that. That's what it looked like when I watched it back. It looked real rigid. He didn't look smooth and athletic as I typically have seen him when I've seen him like at practice and stuff. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how that development goes because it's a lot of pressure, right? A lot of information, and now I got to go out here and compete for the first time in like a real live setting. And obviously practice is cool, but like I said, oftentimes you have a script and it's pre-planned as far as what plays are going to be called, the situations are planned, and I can get that script before I go out there and really have confidence in what I'm doing versus that game situation. So hopefully, and I'm not going to say hopefully, I know because of who he is, that will get better as the season goes on, if that's the case.
Yeah, it did. It looked like he was thinking like, okay, right foot, left foot, breathe, okay, turn. I mean, it really did look like he was overthinking things. He was asked that actually yesterday, how much he was thinking versus playing.
Thinking a lot. He's definitely thinking a lot out there, and I think that'll come with reps. Thinking less and just going out there and playing. It'll definitely come with reps, and it's something I'll get better at. But I definitely say I was thinking a lot out there.
All right, so
logic. That's what it is. Then it's simple as that.
The mystery has been solved.
You always have got to tell the truth as a player.
That's what it is, and it's so true. I mean, I'm coaching now, so you get to see it on a different level. But it's amazing when kids think, like, man, you way faster than this, man. Why are you walking? Well, coach, I don't really know what I'm doing. Yeah. All right. So to his point, it's not like he's not studying. I know he is. He's a pro, right? But it's being able to take that information, hearing it in the huddle really quick, and this game is on the line, it's loud out there, walk out there, see the coverage, and boom, I know, right? And that is, and people have this, you have to develop it. It's just a mental capacity because you do all of it, and that's why he dropped the ball, right? He lined up, he was thinking, man, what do I got? I got this, okay, they got this coverage. And by the time the ball got there, his mental capacity, it was drained. Right? And that's why he dropped the ball. And this is why people typically have issues executing at the end or something. You're like, how did he drop that? He was just physically exhausted from a mental standpoint, and his brain couldn't even process, how do I catch this ball? Something he's done a million times.
A million.
So that will get better because he's a pro, great athlete, obviously who he's connected to, the support system that he has. So I can't wait to see that, that moment come because we know he's gifted.
Yeah, well, and I mean, we're all saying thinking, and he's saying thinking. What we're really saying is second guessing, right? I mean, in this context, it's not just thinking, okay, I got to run this route. I mean, you're second guessing yourself.
Well, it's like, am I sure? Is this the right thing to do?
Yeah.
Okay, I see too high. What's my? A lot of times there's an option route off of whatever you see in right as you're running your route. Oh, is this dude pressing me? Is he about to bail? What? How do I want to do my release? Right? These are all things that you got to think about really quick. Right, as far as how you play, and by the end of all of that, now I got to catch a ball or fight a dude off, or make a tackle or whatever that may be. And by that time, oftentimes, you're just so mentally exhausted you can't even do that. So it's going to get better. He's going to be fine, and so let's not worry about it. Let's move on. And Drew and Kyler and everybody will find easy ways, right? I think even also like maybe some quick screens, getting the ball in his hand, get his confidence going so now he's not thinking, right? Some of those things that you can do to get a guy going and feeling comfortable. Because once you have success, even if you're wrong, you feel good, right? I've had a ton of like great games, and you come, oh man, I made a mistake on that, but I got a sack, baby, so I'm good. You just feel good when something good happens. So you stop thinking and start playing, right, based on what you see and feel, and you're never wrong.
You know what's interesting about that? And again, he's a rookie. He's a young guy, and he knows he's got all this expectation that is out there about how good he's going to be. I thought when he dropped that ball, I thought that messed with him too. I thought it messed with him. Again, he knows. Okay, he knows what really happened right there. But dropping that ball right there in between the 1 and the 8, right on him, it was so unthinkable that could happen when you watch him on the jugs gun. When you watch him in practice,
constantly.
He's constant. He
more than anybody, he's on those things.
That is around him, and that ball hit him square. That had to mess with him just a little bit.
And that's why, right, you got to fail forward, right? Just because you prepare doesn't mean you're going to have success, right? But you got to understand that you're going to probably be more successful because you have prepared, right? And that's the mental concept if you getting that, right? Because I can tell you, right, that was just a roadblock based on the way he works. If he didn't work out, didn't show up, well, we're gonna see that all the time.
Yeah.
But because we know he prepares the right way, he's a pro even at a young age, that was just a mistake that happened. And it happens to the greatest of players. And so he's going to bounce back. He's going to move through it. It's not probably the first time that he's faced this, right? It's probably been on the NFL level, but he's going to move through it because he prepares daily, and eventually that pays off. And we can even look at it in a different sport, right? Corbin Carroll, right? Rookie of the year, comes back. It is horrible. Oh man, are we going to move him down to the minor leagues? And then he comes up and then he's smashing because of what? He's a pro. It eventually kicks off. It just happens, right? But you got to be patient, right? And we in a world that's not patient. And obviously fans and the radio, we got to talk about what's happening in the now. But it's going to pay off because of who he is and how he prepares. And I know that. Guarantee it. Put a stamp on it. I just know it's going to happen because of who he is and how he goes about his business.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.